Hello, beautiful people. How are you after day one and day two? I see you're still catching up the replays. All the replays are in the group as well as on YouTube. And I can't wait. I know you will be catching up during the weekend, and I can't wait to see your breakthroughs. What is happening? What are you realizing? What are you implementing in your current sales process, buyer journey process? Today, we are going to talk about the messaging and the positioning, which is, if I have to define which is the most important, this is probably one of the top three assets and elements you need in your business at every single stage of the journey. What I want to ask you for is to catch up with the replays during the weekend and to post your realizations, what's happening inside of you, what do you see, where do you see like these things I'm doing great and I will double down on this, or what are the things that are currently like you saw and you realize, okay, I need to take care of this, whether it's going to be the buyer journey, the messaging, whether it's going to be how you're delivering your current spaces and how you're actually adding space for people to give them the step-by-step process and to be able to upsell them or to invite them to your long-term spaces, masterminds, memberships. Tell me in the comments what's happening, what's currently bothering you, or if you have like anything that you're like, should I do it this way or that way? So we can go through it. Day 4 and day 5, which are next week, Monday and Tuesday. I want to be absolutely around you and your cases. So whatever you post in the group, I will be taking a look, and day 4 and day 5 will be a lot around the messaging and how you're actually upselling or how you are setting up your business for sales on repeat. Today will be also about the messaging, the positioning behind sales on repeat. You're going to see how to stop sounding easy to admire but hard to buy from, because this is one of the most common things. We are, of course, it's not intentional, but oftentimes we are posting this kind of aspirational or inspirational content that makes people, yeah, aha, I love it, this resonates with me, but they're not buying. Today you're going to master the buyer psychology that triggers consistent yeses, and I'm going to give you examples with some luxury brands because there is a lot to take from them and implement in your business. Of course, not everything, as I said in day 1, not everything that I'm giving you here today is something that you should do right now. Some of the things you could say, okay, I'm applying these 1, 2, 3 things. The rest stay with you. And whenever you need it, you will know what to do, how to do it. And I also today want to talk about how to position yourself so people stop comparing you to others. And I want to talk about these brands that are, very desired. Think of whether it's going to be a car, an apartment, or an Hermes bag, or whatever it is, or I don't know, some of the mentors that you admire and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I have this life. I see they have so many people inside their spaces and I really wish to have this for me someday. Not from a place of, not from the place of being envious, but from a place I would love to have this for me and for my brand. I would love to make my world feels like that. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that the more available they are, the more people will buy. And yesterday, the question that we had yesterday that came from Helen was a great example of this. And I have done it as well, of course, that I want to give so much to my people because I genuinely want to help them. And this way I was thinking that first of all, they will get great value, and that this will make them think, oh, she's so great, oh, I'm so grateful, and that this will make people buy more. But the truth is that constant availability and giving too much often lowers the perceived value. This is what happens in reality. And the sooner you get that, the better for you. The most desired brands do not position themselves like, I'm always here for you. DM me anytime. Everything is open all the time. I can help everyone. Because desire needs space. That's why I started day one, the day I started it. And when people feel like your world is intentional, created, protected, and selective, like in the entry-level spaces, the lower ticket spaces, you're not giving access to you all the time. Now, of course, there are always nuances. Sometimes you would say, I want to do something like a free masterclass where I'm also going to answer people's questions. Like this masterclass for me is not just a masterclass I'm pre-recording and sharing with people, but I want the people in the group to be able to feel this, me. And this is a strategic thing, but I'm not always doing this. I'm not doing this every time for everything. And the lower the price, the less access, proximity, the level of the conversations is very different. And even if you're doing something strategically where you're going to show your brilliance, how you think, what's possible, the potential of what you can do, you need to have boundary with yourself and to be very clear. I'm doing this here in order to upsell or to invite people to work with me in a mastermind space or higher proximity space. So make sure that your world is really intentional, curated, protected, and selective. This changes how people perceive your work. Don't give everything to everyone. Remember what I told you about giving level 10 transformation to someone who is not ready. Right? Because otherwise you want to give from the bottom of your heart, but people are not always ready. This does not mean that you are playing hard to get. Let's not confuse this. Let's understand the layers behind what I'm saying. This means understanding that easy access is not the same as strong desirability. How this applies to your business as a personal brand or as a coaching business. This could look like not having every offer permanently available. This could look like having intentional entry points. Entry points means the space where people come at first and get to know what you do, your work, take the first step, get the very basics, let's say. This means that you're making your world feel curated, not chaotic. Oftentimes what I see with coaches and entrepreneurs is that there is one offer where you're giving everything, and I have done this mistake, of course. You're giving everything and there is no reason for people to upgrade. And two things happen here. First of all, people cannot get the full transformation because you're giving level 10 to level 2 person, for example. They are not ascending, meaning you are not earning what you deserve. And in the end, this doesn't work for anyone. And you're making a disservice to the client and disservice to your bank account. And in the end, you're drained and sales on repeat do not happen. Instead, start creating experiences that feel considered, curated, not constantly up for grabs. The goal is not to be available 24/7 for everyone. The goal is to be valuable enough that access feels meaningful. The next step is to protect the brand, your world, harder than you chase revenue. And of course, there could be different seasons. There could be seasons where you're going to be chasing revenue because, of course, let's say you need this money and you're saying, okay, I'm going to do this because I need cash flow. But this is different. It is one thing to say, I am flexible and I can do this right now because this cash flow is important. And it is a totally different thing to be constantly giving everything away and not receiving back. These are two very different things. And short-term cash should never cost long-term brand power. Even if you decide that you're allowed to do this, of course, if you decide that you are going to, let's say, you want to work with someone really, like you love it, you want to work with this person, this is your ideal client, and you're presenting everything to them, and they are telling you, look, I cannot join in this offer that costs 10K right now. I'm not ready to commit, I cannot afford this, whatever reason. And then what many people do they are saying, okay, I'm going to give you this for 5K. This is the incorrect move. What you can do and what is better, and I have done so much money this way, is I'm telling people, okay, what I can do for you is let's start with a 1 month intensive. For example, you could choose another thing. You can come here. Let's start here. But this is not that you're giving 10K transformation to someone who is going to pay 1,000, for example. You are going to reduce the scope of what you're delivering. You're not going to be available for them as if they're paying for one-on-one, let's say, or for a mastermind level. You're going to say, okay, I see, I respect that. You can now come in this space where you're going to get what currently works for you. And this is, let's say, just for the purposes of the example, this costs 1K. Let's start with this. You will get the clarity, you will get the full picture. I see currently things are not like 100% clear for you. You have your doubts and this is fine. Come here, start at 1K, for example. It could be like 50 euros masterclass even. Start here, you will get the very basics, you will get familiar, you will clear the things in your head, you will see the clear path, and then we will see again. But you're not giving 10K level to someone who is going to pay 1K. But again, you're getting this short-term cash, and it's not costing your long-term brand power. And this person will most probably, this is what happens always to me every time, the person is going to come in this sample offer for 1,000, for example, or for 500, for example, or a masterclass. They will take what they need and what they can implement, and then they're going to say, okay, I have done step one, now I see what's going on, I already have a clearer picture in my head, now I understand what you're talking about, let me buy another intensive, or like, let's do one more month, or let me come to the next level step. In this way, you have cash flow, this person enters, this person is being nurtured, warmed up, they are growing, they're developing, they start their journey, and then the possibility for them to buy again or to upgrade is 80% higher, if not 100% higher. A lot of businesses make decisions, and decision making is something very important for you as a business owner. Many businesses make decisions based on, how do I make money this month? How can I sell quickly? How do I get more people in now? And this, first of all, this is relevant. That's why I said, let's normalize it. It's normal that you would need the cash, the money. The more you grow, the less you are going to need some urgent things. But in any case, this could be relevant. And sometimes you might need a quick cash injection, and that is okay. But in general, when we are speaking in the overall brand and business growth, start thinking long term. And even if sometimes you need to think, how do I make money this month? Or like, I need a cash injection because I don't know whatever reason, you could have this, yes. But in general, long-term, think of your long-term brand power. While cash flow matters, there is a deeper question that stronger brands ask. And this question is, will this strengthen or weaken my brand over time? My income, my cash flow over time? So, of course, sometimes you could be having these cash injections, you could be doing something that, maybe you are going to say, again, this will be strategically. Okay, I'm going to run 97 euros masterclass because I want more people to enter and experience my work, and I'm going to over deliver, but this is strategically, and then I'm going to upsell them. This is another thing. This is strategically. This means you're thinking ahead of time. You're thinking 3 or 6 months ahead. You're thinking of your brand. You're thinking of, I want more people to enter so they can see what I can do for them. And then some of these people are going to ascend. This is not the type of, how do I make some money this month? And this is a clever decision for you to make. So start thinking long term, start thinking, will this strengthen or weaken my brand over time? Because not every sale is a good sale. Not every opportunity is aligned. And I have paid a big price for this. That's why I'm telling you all this stuff here. And yet this masterclass should be a paid masterclass for sure. If you apply everything I'm telling you here, you will see a tremendous increase in your income from just these 5 days. The next, if you apply everything and you stay consistent over the next 30, 60, 90 days with everything that we have discussed here, and we will keep discussing in day 4 and 5, the level of conversation here is extremely transformational. Desired brands protect their standards, their positioning, their messaging, and their reputation, and the emotional tone of their world. And oftentimes, one unaligned client can cause so much problems that even 100 others that are dream clients will feel like everything is so heavy. Be careful when you're getting a quick cash or a quick sale. Be careful that this is not unaligned with you. Sometimes it's better to say no short term, but to protect the long-term brand essence, value, and your inner world. And these luxury brands and not only luxury brands, but the brands that you're admiring, they are not saying yes to everything. Trust me. Once again, I'm going to give you an example from the corporate world where the brand is on a pedestal, it's worshipped, and the brand manager's responsibility is to mainly protect the brand. Although the budgets are huge, literally huge, for marketing, for sales, for merchandising, for, if you wish, for ads, wherever, whatever, we are not saying yes to everything. In fact, most of the times when something is being offered as an advertising opportunity or as a collaboration or from a partner or from whatever, it's a no. And most of the times, these huge companies which are running like, I don't know, millions of budgets yearly for marketing, and who are also present around the globe, many things are no. Because the long-term brand value, reputation, and essence is way more important. They do not dilute themselves to just to stay busy. How this applies to your business, because you're probably thinking, oh, you're giving an example from the corporate world. This doesn't relate to me. This is not true. And I will tell you many things. When I left my corporate job and I started my own business, I was so happy that I'm not going to be restricted by all these regulations that we have internally from the headquarters. But very quickly, in less than a year, I realized, no, I do fucking need these regulations to apply in my own business, because otherwise it happens that I'm losing money. It happens that I'm diluting my brand, my name, what I'm known for. And some people started thinking that I'm available for everything instead of perceiving me as a revenue architect, as someone who is going to literally make millions for them with what I'm teaching about revenue-led positioning, sales system, buyer journey, client lifetime value. And some of them started perceiving me as if I'm there as a VA. So that's why it's very important for you to hold this standard. And this would often mean and would often look like, does this offer actually match the level I want to be known for? So you might find that you need to retire some of your offers already, to up-level the messaging, to start speaking to another type of audience, or to start speaking to the same audience but different situations and problems they might be experiencing. This means asking yourself, does this pricing support my positioning or weaken it and my brand? And this is not like pricing as a luxury brand for the sake of it. This is for the transformation that you deliver. Ask yourself, does this content strengthen my brand or just gets attention, but the very people I want to work with are actually repelled by it? Am I building trust or just feeding some urgency? And again, these are different, like the urgency, like something that you want to run that is easy, fun, and cool, like a quick win. This is a sales strategy. Go do it, but not all the time. This is what I'm saying. Be careful. Choose the strategies you're applying to sell carefully. Is this actually matching what I want to do and the level of client I want to talk to, or it's going to repel them? Am I actually selling my long-term work, or do I want to sell something like quick and easy, and from there to upsell these people to my long-term work? Because these are all sales strategies. And if your brand says one thing, if your messaging is mainly about quick wins, 30-day thing, like a 5-day thing, and you want to actually be perceived as someone who is there for their long-term transformation, There is a battle between these two things. If your brand says one thing, but your business decisions say another, this is where you start wobbling. This is where your revenue starts collapsing and its ups and downs, because there is no consistency. And consistency does not mean post every day. Consistency means consistency in your positioning, consistency in your brand, consistency in how you show up, consistency on what you're talking about, like the same 3-4 topics all over, like over and over again. And people feel that. And if it's not consistent, if it's not coherent, over time, it erodes desire. You don't lose clients after the first sale because your offer is weak. You lose them because there is no designed reason for them to stay inside your ecosystem after the first result. The third thing is that, and this is so common, like literally every day, people don't buy features. They buy meaning and transformation. People buy what your work represents, and this is huge. People do not buy a session, a course, a strategy container, a coaching package, a healing offer, a done-for-you service, just because of what it is. They buy because of what it means to them, what is going to do for them, what is going to transform, what is going to help them with. They buy what your work represents emotionally, psychologically, identity-wise, transformation-wise, money-wise. They're buying things like, for example, a relief from a particular burden they experience, power for what they need and desire, confidence in how they look, move, date, make business and money, if you wish, clarity in their messaging, positioning, certain situations that are costing them or that will help them quickly get what they want. Like if someone buys an intensive with me, it's not because they buy an intensive, but because they know that in 1 month they will able to collapse 1 year, and they will be able to get the clarity, the decision, to make the decisions, to make, even to, to build sales infrastructure that is going to make them money in the next 11-12 months. The expansion, the safety, the self-trust, the standards, the transformation itself. To, for example, to stop losing money in the reset, to get stable and to be able to scale from this place, to stabilize the revenue, to build assets, to become wealthy, which means your audience is not only asking, what is this? They are asking, who do I become when I enter this world? What will this do for me? So what? You will become confident. So what? So when you go on a date with this sketch that you have and that you want, you don't let your traumas ruin the date and your fears to sabotage you. But you're so confident that this person is, wow, who is this woman? What's going on here? I'm so attracted to her. And then you feel safe and secure with yourself. And even if this partner doesn't choose you, you don't wobble and you don't fall into your traumas and don't become toxic for yourself and for others. And this is a completely different level of partnership, of relationship, where you will be desired, admired, supported, loved. What will this do for me? What would the transformation be? This is a completely different world. Remember this, and this for the note taker, very important. If people don't recognize their problem in your messaging, or This is what I want. Instantly, as soon as they scan the first 3 rows of your post, they think this is not for them. That is why aspirational, inspirational messaging does not sell like crazy. People say, yeah, okay, good, but there is no this nagging feeling, I need this right now. If you want people to buy every day and again, you need to make sure every piece of content speaks of particular problem and desire they have, and giving them the solution using revenue-led positioning. And that changes everything. How this applies to your business. If your messaging is only explaining what's included, how many codes, how many modules, what they get, you're staying on the surface. A desired brand goes deeper. It communicates what changes, what this unlocks, what that heals, sharpens, expands, or reorganizes. Why this matters in the client's real life? Because the strongest brands don't just sell an offer or an item or a bag or a car. They sell a deeper transformation, a status, a more powerful identity. And I want to give you 2-3 examples of my posts that actually brought a lot of people to sign up to a masterclass or to buy an offer. These posts are in the Success Circle and on my page. So if you wish, you can take a look at them and actually apply it for yourself. Not copy paste, but take the principles. So I'm going to read you one post that brought many leads. Here is the post. Stop here. The difference between a 5K month and 50K month is not more work. And this is instantly, wait, what? This is 10x difference. What do you mean it's not more work? I have always believed, and this is what I'm told, that if I work very hard, I will be successful and rich. Turns out this is not what you say. And then instantly, I am giving them what I'm talking about and what's the difference. If it's not more work, then what is it? And I'm giving this instantly, like I'm not wasting their time with some aspirational or inspirational insights. I'm saying it's a structural shift in how your market perceives the cost of not having you in the long run. And this is like hitting you right here. And then I'm going into the micro moments. Now listen the framework. So I have scroll stopping hook that makes them instantly, wait, what? What are you saying? Then I'm instantly giving them what it is, sorry. So I'm not wasting their time anymore. And now they're reading and they're listening. And then I'm giving them micro moments. How does that look in their everyday, day-to-day life? How does that feel for them? And here is what I'm saying. You're waking up to 10 new likes and 3 I love your energy DMs, but only a few how do I pay you notifications. Wow. The next micro moment. You're often working 10-hour days, creating valuable carousels and engaging in groups, yet your Stripe account feels like it's on a slow drip. And so I'm not speaking to people who do not make money. I'm speaking to people who make some money, at least some money. So they already think of a transformation, that they need something as a solution. The third moment, you're playing the game of attraction, but you've forgotten to build the bridge to the sale. And the next one is hitting even deeper. If your income isn't multiplying regularly, it's because your brand is a nice to have luxury in a world that only pays for must-have solutions. you're speaking to their surface level pain, but you aren't activating their future obsession. You're making them feel inspired, but you aren't making them feel required at every level. And this is instantly, yes, I see now why people are not upgrading, why people are not buying on repeat. This makes so much sense. And then I continue. I don't stop here. That requires a structural shift in how the market sees your world and spaces. This is the aha moment. And then I explain this, not because I'm over explaining, but because this is giving examples so people can instantly recognize themselves in this. From one-time solution to long-term transformation, so they buy on repeat. From expert to the only choice, so they rave about being in your world. From that's nice to I want to work with you long-term. Do you see how many transformational examples I'm giving here? And then here is the offer positioning. In the sales on repeat 5-day free masterclass, we bridge the gap between being liked and being chosen on repeat. One sentence, full transformation. But I don't stop here. I continue giving them the mechanism, the methodology behind, so they know this is not just an empty promise. I see what I'm going to get inside, but not in terms of 5 days. In day 1, we will do this. In day 2, we will do that. I'm saying you live with a revenue-led positioning that makes your offer the only logical investment for a buyer who is ready to move. You will learn how to build a brand that is desired, remembered, referred, and paid on repeat. 3 sentences. Revenue-led positioning. Instant yes. Speaking to their desires and how is this going to happen. So there is a methodology behind it. It's not just an empty promise, because otherwise they will say, yeah, I have signed for so many free masterclasses, I learned nothing. But I'm saying revenue-led positioning that makes your offer the only logical investment for a buyer who is ready to move now. And they're like, what is this? Okay, that now makes sense. It doesn't seem like some fluff, and I'm going to be wasting my time. And then I say, ready to shatter your income ceiling and finally get paid for your brilliance. And they're like, yes, sign me up. I'm so done with being brilliant and not paid. And being on these 5, 10, 15K months when I know I should be making 70, 80, 100 already. And then I'm giving them comment sales below and let's go live April 15, 22nd. But you see, there is no like other deeds or other things that are going to dilute the power of the transformation. And then I'm going a layer deeper so the algorithm can push this even more. And I'm saying, P.S., the algorithm wants you to stay helpful and underpaid. Prove it wrong. Drop a yes if you're ready to lead. This post is pure gold. And when most of your posts are in this style and use this framework, you will see that you will start signing up people like literally every day. It could be 3 people at once, or 1 person, or 5 people at once. So for you, you don't need to copy paste it. You don't need to try to make it the same. This was just an example. The point is that you make it, you are doing X, and to be hyper micro specific. And that is why what they experience. You're doing X, and that's why you experience Y. And this is where you're telling them what's currently happening, what they're doing wrong, and what is your take on this. The difference is what's the mechanism, what's the transformation, what's the result, why is this happening, what's the root cause. So make sure you watch this again and you write a similar post. Once again, no need to copy paste it, no need to be the same, no need to use the same phrases like the PS or stop here, no need to do this. Just make sure you write it for your audience, so you show them you know very well what's happening, how they feel, what they're doing, why this is happening, and what needs to happen instead, and what's your methodology. So you make this transformation happen. Another thing that you could do, and I want you to post this whenever you find it properly. This is a binary question. Would you rather A or B? Of course, related to what you do, your ideal client, and something that is very common, that you know this is not what they should be doing. Or another thing, both could be true, but this way you're going to see what your audience thinks. Where are they in their journey? What do they want to have? And my example in this post got me more than 10 people as leads asking for the link to this particular masterclass. And many of these questions are actually creating a lot of conversion for me. And I'm also posting these posts in other groups where my ideal client would be hanging. So here is one example of one of the posts that I did from these binary questions. I'm asking, would you rather have A, 100 new followers, or B, one client who buys three more times, upgrades fast, and stays in your world long term? So make sure you do this for your audience, for your upcoming offer. Would you rather have, do, be? This post is a golden post. I'm posting at least one question per week, sometimes more. What is this doing? First of all, it's so easy to answer that people do not have to think on it. So they start instantly commenting, instantly in the first 10, 15 minutes. Then when 3, 4, 5, 10 people comment, the algorithm pushes it. Then what you can do from there, you can start conversations in the comments. You could send these people DMs, or you can directly invite them and say, wonderful, this is exactly what I'm doing in this space. Or you can simply have these conversations, these letters, so you start having communication with these people. Now, of course, not all of these people are going to be ideal clients, but you're going to boost the algorithm. You're going to get to know your audience. You're going to get to know where most of the people that are commenting are actually in their journey. What do they think? So then you can write more posts, more content. And you can say, you think your problem is X, but it's Y, or you don't have this problem, you have this type of problem, and then explain why. Another example I want to give you from the first type of post. Warning, if your content is valuable, you're probably losing money. Wait, what are you saying? I was thinking I need to be posting value content. And I'm instantly like giving them what, why, what's behind what I'm saying. People aren't buying from you like crazy because you've trained them to use you for information instead of hiring you for the solution. And people are, this is exactly what I'm doing without even realizing it. And I continue. It's the most dangerous trap in the coaching world. You're brilliant. You're generous. You're giving away the farm in your posts. And your audience loves it. Of course they do. They save your carousels. They bookmark your tips. They treat you like a free library. But when it's time to invest 5K, 10K, 25K, they go to the specialist, not to you. They go to the person who didn't just teach them how to fish, but who diagnosed exactly why their current boat is sinking. The truth? Helpful is a commodity. Authority is an addiction. And here you can see I'm already giving them some methodologies. And you see that this is very hyper micro specific to one thing they're doing wrong. One thing, one micro moment, hyper micro specific. So people are reading this and they're instantly recognizing themselves in it. And this does not mean that this will be for everyone in your audience, but then people could recognize themselves and they will say, yeah, I'm doing this. I need you. So here is how I continue. This is revenue-led positioning in action. This is micro-specificity in action. This is micro-moment in action. Everything, the whole framework is here. So I continue like this. When you lead with revenue-led positioning, you stop being the nice-to-have resource and starting being the inevitability. You stop being the person they learn from and start being the only person who can remove the friction costing them their next 100K month. And of course, this could be different. You don't need to use like numbers. That's costing them their next highly valuable partner, or that's costing them 5 kilos in the reset, or that's costing you not being able to eat pizza or whatever. I'm just brainstorming. Think of this for your business. But do you see, I'm not hiding the methodology. I'm not hiding anything. I am explaining this to them so they know I'm not speaking about fluff. And then I can continue. Here is the imagine section. This is the future proof. So imagine shifting your messaging so that your words don't just educate, they expose the structural flaw in their current strategy. Or this could be different for you, of course. Your frameworks make their best effort look like amateur hour compared to the standard you set. Your offer isn't more information, it's the surgical strike that fixes the engine. When you master the decision gap, you stop being a choice among many and start being the only logical solution for their highest needs situation. If your sales are slow, it's because you're too busy being useful. You're solving the symptom, but I'm here to help you own the cure. Ready to stop being free resource and start building a brand so magnetic, so essential that premium buyers chase you down to pay you? In my Magnetic to Money free, so this is for another free masterclass. In my Magnetic to Money free masterclass, we are going to instantly refine your positioning and turn your brilliance into sales engine that never sleeps. Comment magnetic below and I will send you the direct link. Let's make your work undeniable. And here once again, I have this PS. PS, if this post made you realize you've been over teaching and under earning, so I keep pushing, the algorithm already knows. Prove it wrong and drop a yes below. And then people are magnetic, yes, yes, magnetic, magnetic. How many comments? And this post has 1, 2, 3 leads from this one post that got 52 reach according to what Facebook says. This is incredible. This is exactly what is showing you that when you have hyper precise messaging and positioning, you can make money regardless of your audience size. So your homework for today is to write similar posts like this, one binary question and at least one like these examples that I gave you. Then I will continue with what makes luxury brands, and not only luxury brands, but how you can keep applying this so people love being in your world. So stop thinking, how should I market? What should I market? What should I say? Create a world, not just content. A lot of brands are technically good, and this is when people say, yeah, but I'm doing everything right, why it's not working? Yeah, so technically it's good, but it's forgettable. Why? Because they are only creating content. They are not creating a world, a recognition, a desire. The strongest brands have a universe around them, a very distinct feeling, distinct emotional field, distinct way of seeing things. They're not just blending in like everyone else. They have their own, let's call it mythology, like the Greek mythology, for example. They have a point of view, certain language and words they're using, their own rhythm, standards, a worldview, a recognizable energetic and strategic signature. So they are not just like everyone else. They are actually very different. That is what makes a brand memorable, when you stop trying to be like everyone else and instead you go and disrupt with your own knowing, beliefs. People don't just remember information, they remember how your brand felt. This is where your personal brand becomes more than just educational posts, tips, random content, generic thought for leadership. And instead it becomes a world people can enter. And this is when they think, I want to be in this room. I want to be in this woman's world. I want to think like this, operate like this, behave like this. This is what makes people stay attached to you, to your brand, to your business. The next thing is that the price is not just a number, it is a signal. Pricing shapes perception. One of the biggest mistakes in business is thinking pricing is only a financial decision. No, it's not. Of course, the margin should be profitable, but it's also a psychological and positioning decision, because the price communicates things like seriousness, standard, depth, trust, curation, expectation, quality, category, and it makes people perceive it more seriously when they paid for something, so they will show up. Now, does that not mean just charge more for the sake of it? It means that your pricing has to make sense inside the world your brand is creating. If your pricing says one thing, but your messaging, client experience, delivery, sales process, even the visuals, the brand coherence says something else, people feel that this much. So sometimes you might be saying, and this is more common for you, I believe, I'm delivering so much so, but the price is as if you're not. And people say, if that was that so valuable, if that was that valuable, as you say, it wouldn't cost 50 euros, it would cost 50,000 euros. And when people feel this mismatch, they hesitate. How this applies to your business? The goal is not just to make the price higher. The goal is to make your brand and your positioning so clear, so well positioned, and so intentionally designed that people think, I understand why this is priced that way. I understand why this is different. I understand why this is worth paying for. think of something that you bought, something cheap, and then it broke very quickly, and you say, yeah, for 20 euros, that's normal. And sometimes when you buy something that it's, this is so expensive, why is that so expensive? But then you buy it and everything feels so easy, even if the tiniest details that you have to stop thinking of some tiny situations, and you're like, you feel so light, you feel so nice, and you're like, now I see why this is costing so much. And this is very different from just expensive. Like, for example, first class plane ticket. There, it's not crowded. The service is great and amazing. Like when you fly with the Emirates, you have your own cabin. There is a bar, there is a shower there. And at first you might be thinking, who needs this? But when you go and experience it, now I see why this is costing so much. I have never even thought about this. Yes, you haven't, but someone else had, and they created it. And of course, it has its own price. The next thing is my favorite, and this is the obsession with craftsmanship, detail, and depth. This is like what I'm all about. Desire is in the details. That's why I'm so much about the revenue-led positioning, where you're giving what's the methodology, what's the behind the promise, what is the behind the transformation. It shows depth and detail. It shows that you care to not just promise you're going to become rich, but you actually explain to people how is this going to happen. Not in every detail, but with 2-3 sentences, as I gave you examples. And I want to give you here an example with Hermes, for example, and how they tell you what is the skin they use. Is it matte or shiny? How durable is it? Is it easy to scratch or it's very durable? How heavy is it? The deeds in the gold, the palladium, even the color inside, it is rare, it is regular. And you're like, hold on a second. 3 minutes ago, I didn't even know there are so many types of skin. There are so many types of skin. I hadn't even noticed if this is gold or palladium. Who cares of the color inside? I don't care if there are 5 bags in the world like this or 5,000. But when they show you the bag and they start explaining everything and they show you this and that detail, they show you the stitches, and you're like, oh wow, what a craftsmanship. They paid attention to each and every detail. I didn't even know that there is a difference in how durable this skin would be, or if it's easy to scratch or no. 5 minutes ago, I was like, how am I going to pay 25,000 for a bag? Are you normal? Are you serious? Are you insane? I can buy a bag for 20 euros. But when they explain you, the way that they treat you when you enter there, the way that they put you on a waiting list for that Birkin bag, and you might wait for 3 years and you don't even know what you're going to buy, but people are freaking out and you're wondering, why are they freaking out? And 5 minutes ago you were hating how stupid these people were. But now you also want to sign up for that waiting list and to pay 25,000 for a bag, even more. Yeah, they are explaining you what's behind that price. That it is, everything is done by hand, every stitch. And now you start perceiving the value in a completely different way. Or, for example, with luxury cars, you know, this will be for the men, they will understand better probably. Because especially, you know, or at least I was till recently like, oh, if it's a red car, I love it. But even when you are watching an advertising on TV for the car, they tell you how many horsepower, the engine, V8, V16, blah, blah, I don't get that anyway. The fuel spent, the extras, what's the skin on the seats. And they start push on the safety, the quality, on the feeling of this power of the engine, the beauty that it creates, how it makes you feel. It makes you feel cool, it makes you feel safe, it makes you feel powerful that you can ride this. And they are actually detailed, if you have noticed. They don't just use identity language. They use the craftsmanship and how that reflects on your identity. And they're also telling you the safety features, the extras, the engine, the durability of this car. This is where desire is built. And even if you were like 5 minutes ago, I don't care if it's a V8 or engine or I don't know, V6 or V8. Now you instantly start getting it, you know, because it makes sense, it's logical. And when they tell you some safety features, you're instantly, yeah, I never thought of this, but it actually makes a lot of sense. This is where the desire is built. And it matters massively. The strongest brands are obsessive about detail, but not the random detail, the meaningful detail. They understand that desire is often created in the small things. And there are two forms of excellence every strong brand needs. Write this down. The visible excellence. This is what people can see. For example, how your offer is structured, the onboarding look, how your onboarding looks, how your sales page reads, how your client materials are presented, the graphics, the designs, is it very easy to buy it when they land on your profile? Is it very easy to understand that you're excellent and brilliant? How polished your brand world feels, what people are saying about you, how clearly things are named and framed. These are the visible. But the invisible excellence, this is what people feel, even if they can't explain. For example, how cared for they feel, how intentional the buyer journey feels, how much emotional intelligence they feel in your process. Do they feel like intelligent creatures or just as a number? How supported they feel, how clean and thoughtful the experience is, whether your work feels generic or deeply crafted. And this is where a lot of repeat buyers are won or lost, because people stay loyal when they feel nothing here feels random. Everything is so intentional, so curated. I want to make this work for me. I want to be there. I want to give the same to my clients, or to have the same type of relationship, or to have that healthy and lean body. They think there is thought in this. There is depth in this. There is care in this. And let me now translate this Hermes bag example to your business. When someone buys an Hermes bag, they are not just handed a bag and a price tag. They're walked through, as I told you, the leather, the texture, whether it's matte or shiny, whether it's rare, the hardware, the craftsmanship, the construction, the subtle differences that make it what it is. Not because these are features. No, this does not relate to, here are 8 modules, here are 6 codes. This does not relate to that, but to the understood and the perceived value. So the buyer doesn't just think this is expensive. They think, now I understand what I'm paying for. Now I understand why this is so special. And that's exactly what powerful positioning does in your business and in your messaging. It's not about dumping information. It's happening by revealing the thought, the method, the precision, the standard, the architecture behind the result. This is what revenue-led positioning does. It helps people understand not just what you do, but why it carries the level of value it does. The next thing, desired brands do not over-explain or beg to be chosen. They create confidence, not pressure. A lot of people market from the energy of proving why they are good, why they are qualified, why people should trust them, why the offer is worth it, why they are different. And one note here, sometimes from time to time, you might post a similar post. You will post results that will show why you're qualified, why should people trust you. But it should not sound as if you're trying to convince them. It should come from a place of authority. Desired brands don't constantly over-justify themselves. They simply communicate with the clarity, the confidence, the restraint, the coherence, the conviction. That doesn't mean being vague. It means not selling from desperation. But here is how good I am. That's why you need to buy it. When you say, here is the results that are currently happening for my clients, and of course they will happen because we are doing XYZ, and of course it's going to happen because when you have me as a leader, I will not let you drop the ball, for example. This is a completely different energy and power. People can feel when a brand is trying too hard to be picked. When you try to justify the price, for example, and when they tell you, but this is very expensive, and the example I gave you, instead of saying, okay, start here at 1K with a way less work and very clearly defined scope of 2-3 things they're receiving. This is very different than just discounting a 10K package for 1K and selling it 10 times cheaper. If you do this, that energy weakens desire. You don't need to market like, please understand me, please buy this, please see what this matters, why this matters. Instead, your messaging should feel like, this is for you, you will, if this is for you, you will feel it. If this is your level, you will recognize it. That's not about arrogance, that's about clean positioning. The next thing that luxury brands are doing, and that I want you to start thinking about, and we talked a lot about this yesterday, this is the customer experience should feel like a well-led journey, not just a transaction. And here, since I saw this feedback, just make sure that you're not on the other edge, where your customer experience is so great, but the price is not reflecting it. This is where loyalty is either built or lost. A lot of businesses focus so much on the sale that they forget about the experience after the sale. But if you want repeat revenue, referrals, trust, and long-term brand people love and buy from, you need to think about the full buyer journey. People will remember how they were welcomed, how they were spoken to, how they were led, how they were supported, held when they needed, how easy or confusing the experience felt. And I have seen when huge brands at certain moment forget about this. They were really doing this very greatly. but as they grow, they forget about it. And when people enter the container, so many people are saying, like, the founder and the business owner, the coach thinks I'm giving them so much and it's great, everything is perfect. But what people are saying is actually everything is all over the place. There is a library of hundreds of hours of video trainings that I cannot even listen to. It's so confusing. No one leads you and tells you start here or start there. And I simply don't do anything. I don't know why I'm paying this money. I hate it. It's awful in there. So think about that. Do you need to structure your spaces and containers in a better way? Could you maybe improve the buyer experience by, I don't know, having a quick call with new people who join and tell them, okay, tell me what's happening, start here, start there, or maybe to have someone of your team, or maybe you simply can set up the platform that you're using, module 1 or module 2, I don't know. Just make sure that it makes sense and you're not just throwing 10,000 things at them and they feel lost. This matters deeply because a lot of clients are not only asking, will this help me? They are also asking, will it feel like, what will it feel to be a client here? So think of the onboarding, the communication, the client touch points, emotional tone, process clarity, support systems, the pacing of the journey, what happens before, during, and after the work. So for example, I'll give you an example with myself. When I started and I was so excited, I'm just a person who is so organized and I move very quickly. And at certain point I saw that some clients love it, but certain clients are not like that. They need more space, more time. They cannot move like me, maybe because I have an experience in the corporate world and I have a completely different manner of work. So I saw this, and in the beginning I was kind of pushing because I wanted them to get results faster. But then I realized that everyone has their own journey. And this is when I slowed down. But then I was at another, there was another risk that people would not do the work and it will feel as if I'm not leading them. So I had to find what works for me and my clients. Maybe sometimes you're giving too much space and it feels as if there is no structure. Maybe sometimes there is too much structure and there is no space for them. So try to find the balance, what's really working. Because a strong brand does not just deliver. It knows how to lead the client through an experience that feels safe, clean, clear, elevated, and transformational. This is what creates loyalty. And this is why in the beginning of this masterclass, I told you, take your time. I know you have a lot on your plate. I know that this masterclass is actually value-packed. There is so much here you can listen it 3 times and still find new things. And that's why I told you, take your time. Do not rush. I don't want you to rush to do this in 5 days and get nothing of it. Take your time. You can even post and ask your questions after these 5 days. And maybe I'm going to add additional session without pushing you. Maybe I will give you like 7, 10, 14 days, and then we can have another session. Because I want you to be able to utilize all of this. The next thing is that consistency creates trust. The strongest brands are coherent, as I said. Not consistency in posting every day. This is not what consistency means. This means one reason your brand is remembered for. What do you want to be known for? You know that some brands feel coherent, others feel scattered. And another example, if you're watching ads on TV, you will see that, for example, L'Oreal or Colgate, or I don't know, think of a brand we all know. You can see that one and the same advertising is running for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. They're not changing the message and the creatives every 3 months. No, the messaging is consistent. You need at least 6 months. And if you're changing your messaging every other day and constantly trying to invent something, I would suggest that you stick to 3 main things you want to be known for under one umbrella, of course, and to start speaking of this for the next 6-12 months. Instead of trying to reinvent everything, you will have 10 times better success. I can guarantee this. I have done it myself. When a brand feels scattered, it becomes harder to trust. Because people don't know what you really stand for, what kind of experience they're entering, what your work is actually about, what your brand is truly for. Strong brands have consistency in the tone, in the standard, in the messaging, in the client experience and visuals. Even if you wish, in the emotional energy and the point of view, they stand for something. That does not mean becoming too repetitive or robotic, but it means becoming recognizable. If one day your brand feels like highly energetic, the other day highly strategic, then random, then chaotic, then soft and vague, then intense and salesy, then over-explanatory, this creates friction. Now, of course, some days you can have identity-led positioning, or like to be more aspirational, or to share your thoughts without any call to action. But make sure that most of the things that you're posting are actually solving a problem for your client, that they're actually giving them insights, and it's not only this aspirational type of messaging. I'm not saying put a CTA on each and every post, but make sure that there is balance, and it doesn't feel chaotic, but it feels balanced, that there is an internal coherence, because coherence builds trust. And that one is very important. Don't market to everyone who can pay. Market to the right people psychologically. This one is huge. A lot of people build offers and messaging around who can afford this. But that's not the strongest question. Your question should be, who is actually the right fit for this world? For whom I'm creating this offer? I know there are 10 people in my world or 50 people in my world who are experiencing this, and these binary questions are going to help you a lot for this. For example, okay, I see this is what people experience, this is what they feel and think, and this is what actually it is or it's not. So I'm going to create this offer for them. And when you are speaking, you will be speaking to them, to what these people are telling you. Take the people in your world. What are they telling you? What are their thoughts, objections, what they're saying? Yes, but. So create for them. This is how you're going to sell on repeat and upsell them. Not everyone with money is the right buyer for you. And I can swear by this. Not every buyer is someone you want to build a long-term relationship with. Desired brands understand psychographics, not just demographics. They care about the values, the standard, the emotional intelligence of this person, the self-responsibility. Is this partnership going to build my brand or to destroy it somehow? The desire level, the identity, the depth, even the relational maturity. This is so deep. So don't speak to everyone in your niche who needs help, who could technically buy. Speak to the people who are actually aligned with the way you work, lead, support, and transform. That is what creates better buyers, better retention, better results, stronger referrals, and repeat revenue. As I said in the beginning, the best brands create long-term value, not just a quick sale. People stay close to what continues to matter. The strongest brands are not built around one-off consumption. They are built around lasting value. That means that what you create should not feel like transactional, like a temporary dopamine hit, a random purchase, a forgettable experience. It should feel like something that stays with the client, changes how they think. This is very huge. Upgrades their standard even in 40-minute masterclass, improves their decision making, supports them long after the first sale. So ask yourself, does my work create lasting transformation? Does this shift the way my client moves permanently? Does this create trust and attachment over time? Does this make them want to come back into your world? Repeat buying does not happen when the client thinks, oh, that was nice. It happens when they think that changed something for me. I can't even explain it. I can't tell you what I have learned, but this changed something. This raised my standard. This stayed with me. And this is what creates brand loyalty. People buy brands that help them feel like who they want to be. At the deepest level, desire is identity-based. This is the deepest layer of all. People do not buy based on logic. They buy based on emotion and identity. They buy what helps them feel closer to the version of themselves they want to be, the relationship they want to have. How do they want to feel in that relationship? The standard they want to embody, whether it's going to be for their health, appearance, how the clothes they're wearing look like on their body, how the business they build makes them feel, that they are not losing money in the reset, that they are not collapsing as a human every time when they want to scale, but things are not happening. The life, the business, the relationship, the self-trust they want to have. Because they do not just... Some brands become magnetic because they do not just offer a result, but because they offer an identity experience. And now here you're using revenue-led positioning to something very specific with a very specific result and transformation. But at the same time, this makes them feel so much better. So it hits on an identity level. Because they know that when clients buy on repeat, when the business is going well, when people are buying and upgrading, they feel relief. This is an identity experience. Which means your audience is not just asking, will this work? They are also asking, does this feel like the kind of space, person, and standard I want to attach myself to? And when the answer is yes, that is when your brand becomes remembered, desired, trusted, referred, and chosen again. And if I had to summarize day 3 in one sentence, it would be this. People do not buy from a brand on repeat only because the offer is good or the product. They buy on repeat because of how it feels to be in that brand's world. And this is very deep. This is really very deep. And that's why I told you I don't want to have so much people here, but I prefer to have, if you wish, 5 people, but the right people, because I'm not just speaking of some transactional sales here. Everything that I have told you over the last 3 days means If you want sales on repeat, you cannot only focus on the content, the visibility, the conversion tactics, the random urgency. You also need to build the trust, the desirability, the emotional safety, the detail, the depth, the consistency, the positioning, and that client experience people actually want to return to. Of course, by charging properly for this. So you make bank, so you make sales, and this sales actually create safety for you too. So you can give this to them. If your cup is not full, you will not be able to deliver this. So charge properly for this. The goal is to become the kind of brand people want to stay close to, but also that you are able to deliver this to them. So your business is lasting and bought from again and again. This is it for today. I know it has been, again, very deep, but I love delivering this depth, like this fills my soul. The homework from today is to write this binary question post, see how it's going to perform, even if it's not performing extremely well. Give it a couple of days, then try another one, but post this binary question. This is going to increase your visibility and distribution, and it will give you so much information about your audience. It might also bring you direct leads. And one of the posts that I gave example of, make it hyper micro specific for one problem and solution, using the revenue-led positioning for your offer positioning, the transformation, the mechanism, the methodology you're using. Day 4 and 5 will be about you and your cases. So please post in the group your insights, your feedback so far, questions that you have, what you want to know about your offers, what's currently happening, if you have any hesitations, any situations right now about sales, about how to make people buy again or to upgrade. And this is what is going to happen in day 4 and 5. Day 4 will be about this clean sales, clean scale, how to sell and upsell, how to filter the buyers who are not ready, the clean scale system. And day 5 will definitely be the activation and integration. So please make sure that over the weekend you post your questions, what's happening for you. I want to know how this feels right now. And yeah, enjoy the weekend. I'm going to spend it with my family, nephews, nieces, and I will see you on Monday. Thank you so much for your time. Also, if you don't feel like posting in the group, simply send me a DM. Many of you are actually DMing me directly. So anyway, I'm going to reflect on your comments and questions. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.